Hi guys, welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for another stream. This is the team selection video for Double Game Week 25. We're also going to recap the previous game week, which was Game Week 24. And yeah, as always, we're going to speak about transfers, captaincy, chip usage as well with Jordan. So yeah, we're going to get into it. Quite a good video, I think, this one. Quite a lot to discuss. So yeah, how you doing, Jordan? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. Almost at the end of the week, and almost at the end of the week, it feels like it's gone very fast. And double/blank game week 25 is just around the corner. I'm very excited, and hopefully you guys are also excited for this game week.
Yeah, it is a Friday deadline, so make sure you remember, guys. It's not a Saturday deadline. Deadline's tomorrow, so we thought we'd do the team selection video. So let's quickly bring up our scores from game week 24 and recap briefly how we did for those that missed it. But yeah, let's start off with my team. So in goal, I do have Danny Ward, who did concede quite a few goals. He conceded 3 to Manchester United. So obviously the clean sheet was wiped. Moving on to the defense, it doesn't really get much better with Trippier blanking after conceding, obviously, to Liverpool, I think. And then Ben White also conceding no clean sheet for him. Luke Shaw, on the other hand, does keep a clean sheet in the 3-0 win against Leicester. And Mings was my auto sub for Riyad Mahrez on the bench. But unfortunately, Mings did concede 4 goals. So ultimately, he got 0 points. So it didn't even make a difference. So yeah, he comes on for Mahrez. Then in the midfield 4, I had De Bruyne, who did blank in that draw to Nottingham Forest. Saka, again, he scores against Villa. Martinelli, we know what happened with Martinelli. He was benched. He comes onto the pitch, and then fortunately for me, he does get the goal in the last minute after, obviously, Martinez went AWOL. Finally, Rashford, again, he carries on his form with the 15-pointer, with a goal and the bonus points and the clean sheet point as well. So yeah, 15 points from Rashford, and congrats those to captained him. Finally, up front, Haaland, who was my captain, did blank against Forest. Should have probably scored. Man City should have probably won that game 2-3, 4-0, but it wasn't to be, and he does blank. And then Greenwood, as you can see, who comes on for Mitrovic. Now, I did leave Mitrovic into my team because there were some rumors that he might start. He might be in the squad. Team lineup comes out and he's nowhere to be seen. And then obviously I got Greenwood on the bench who comes on for 1 pointer. So all in all, my auto subs weren't great, Mings and Greenwood. Other than that, it was a red arrow after 2 great weeks where I did break into the top 1 mil. It's another about 100k red arrow. So not great. 44 points. So low points this week for me. But we are going to move on to game week 25 and hopefully I can start doing well again and hopefully get my green arrows again. So we'll see. But that's where I'm at with the previous game week. I'll bring your team up, Jordan. Just run us through how your game week 24 went.
Okay, we'll start with Edison. Obviously a blank for him because Nottingham Forest did score in that Man City 1-1 draw. So yeah, another blank for Man City. Moving on to the defence, we've got Trippier, who we've spoken about. He did concede again. And it seems like clean sheets for Newcastle are disappearing. And we won't really think much of it because Trippier is highly owned anyway. So it's probably best he does blank. Moving on to Kilman. He did have Bournemouth, and surprisingly, they did blank as well. And Kilman only got 2 points from match played. So, yeah, another blank in the defence. Nothing much more to say about that in that 2-0 defeat for Wolves. Next, we've got Luke Shaw, who Man United did keep a clean sheet. And it could have been more for Luke Shaw. Could have been a double haul if players were finishing their goals off. But 6 points is still right for Luke Shaw. Moving on to the midfield, we've got Saka, who did score. He was my transfer in for this game week, so it was a nice return, despite Martinelli also scored, who I did take out for him. So it was a nice return nonetheless. It was worth the transfer as well in the long-term run. Next, we've got Fernandes and Rashford, the Man United duos, who both got a double haul at the weekend. Rashford scored, got the bonus 2. Fernandes got the assist and the bonus 3 as well, with the clean sheet on top of that. So it was nice returns for both of them again, and from the triple Man United up as well. It has returned very nicely and probably has saved my game week. Matoma, he got 2 points, so he did blank in that Brighton game, and yeah, it's another dreadful match where it didn't really go the way of Brighton and the way of Matoma. So obviously he does blank next, so obviously you will move on from that. And finally, the 3 up front forwards, they all blanked. Haaland was the captain pick, and he did have somehow he did blank. Not sure how he did. I mean, he had great chances to score, but yeah, he did only get 4 points as I did captain him. And yeah, he was not the best captain pick this week. Next, we've got Nketiah, who also had another blank. He's only had a return in those 2 goals he scored against Man United, so it's still another blank sheet for Nketiah going forward. Hopefully, he can do well in the double coming up for Arsenal. And finally, we got Tony, who also got a blank as well in the Brentford game, where I think they did lose as well. They drew, 1-1. So, and Tony wasn't a part of that goal for Brentford. So, yeah, another blank for Tony. A bit of frustration, I imagine, because he has had a few blanks. Obviously, on the team bench, there isn't really much to talk about. Mezia, obviously, Lee's got not a clean sheet. It was wiped. I think Mezia only got 1 point for the saves. Almiron as well, he blanked. He did come off in the late stages of the game for Newcastle. Ben Mee as well, obviously a blank. It was a 1-1. Andrew Dunk as well, Brighton, another blank there. So not many clean sheets for many teams at the weekend for game week 24. I did get a green arrow though of 10k. I was on 473, but now on 463k. So I'll take a green arrow no matter how big or small it is. Then, especially with this week, I did get 54 points, which was mostly from the Man United squad, and I'm now on a total of 1,473. So that is my game week 24 summary.
Okay, thanks for that. We're gonna move on now to game week 25, double game week 25/blank. So yeah, let's bring up how our bus teams do look for that game week and show you guys on the screen. So this is what my team looks like at the moment. For those that did watch the knee-jerk live reaction, obviously at that time when you saw my team, I had De Bruyne in it and I had 2 free transfers. Now, I did do that move last night, so I took an early transfer. I took out Kevin De Bruyne because he was ill. I believe he missed the Champions League game for Man City last night. So as soon as I heard he's going to miss the Champions League game anyway, I thought I might as well make the move. So KDB has gone out my team, and I've bought in Mo Salah. That leaves me with 3 million in the bank and 1 free transfer. So I still got some moves to make. So my current plans are, as you guys can see, I'm going to go through my team. So I've got Ward in goal, who's got Arsenal at home. It's not a great fixture for him. I don't foresee a clean sheet, but you know, I've got to stick with him now because obviously I don't really want to make a goalkeeper transfer and I've got to make other moves. Back 3, I've got Ben White, who does have a double. I'm not so sure he plays both, starts both, but the more I think of it, I actually think he will now play both because he was a lot better against Aston Villa, and I'm not sure about Tomiyasu playing much in those 2 games. And I think Ben White has looked very good in the last couple of games. So I'd be surprised if he doesn't play in both. So I'm actually not worried about rotation for Ben White. I think he might play both. Moving on to Tyrone Mings, who was my transfer a few weeks ago, with the mind of playing him this game week because he has Everton away. Because I knew Aston Villa would play in the blank, so he's been bought in. So that was early planning, and yeah, he's got Everton away. So hopefully, if you can keep a clean sheet, that would be very nice. Patterson, who has Villa and Arsenal in the double, but we know Patterson has just returned from injury, so he's not going to play either game probably. So he has to be transferred out. It's looking like. So hold that one. Let's see what my plans are. But Patterson is probably going to go from my team. Going to the front 4, I got Martinelli and Saka. Now Martinelli, there is slight doubts whether he'll start both. I don't think he will, but I don't really mind if he plays 120 minutes anyway because I do believe the fixtures are nice, and even if he does come on as a sub, as we saw against Villa, he can score. So I'm not too worried about playing Martinelli and holding on to him for this double, as I believe he still can score and get returns, and I have other things to do in my team. So he stays for now. Saka, as I mentioned, great fixtures, potentially a captain option as well. Leicester and Everton is two nice games for him, and I expect him to carry on his returns that he's been getting recently, and he's on penalties, so 90-minute man, and I think Saka is a key player to have in your team this week. Moving on to my transfer in for KDB. So obviously KDB's gone out. Salah's come in, who's got Palace and Wolves. Liverpool, 2 decent fixtures, Palace and Wolves. There was some renewed optimism for Liverpool after their win against Everton and Newcastle. Obviously, the Champions League has put in maybe another dent in people's confidence in Liverpool, but I still think Liverpool could be good value for this double game week against Palace and Wolves, and I'm backing Salah in this one. So I've bought him in. I'm probably going to bring in at least another Liverpool player, but we'll see in a sec who it is. But yeah, Salah comes in. He is my captain for those. Obviously, I've got the captain's armband on him. Saka is my vice. That could change last minute to maybe Saka, depending on how I feel. But right as of now, I'm choosing Salah because he's on penalties. He's going to play 90 minutes both games. And even though Liverpool were embarrassed by Real Madrid, I still thought their front three for that first 20 minutes looked quite good. And obviously, Palace and Wolves aren't Real Madrid. So I do think Liverpool, even though they look very poor in the last game against Madrid, I do think Salah's still a decent pick, a good pick, I'd say. And hopefully more people are put off by bringing Salah in now, and that might make him a bit more of a differential. So here's hoping anyway. So yeah, he's got Palace and Wolves, and I'm quite happy with the move this week. Finally, in midfield, I do have Mahrez. As we've known, Mahrez has probably been Man City's second best player. I'd say actually their best player since the World Cup, and he did score again last night in a 1-1 draw for the Champions League game against was it Leipzig? Mahrez, he carries on his form. He was rested for the Champions League game, and we can see why. He is a main player for Man City. And Bournemouth away, there is slight doubts whether he will start, but I think if you own Mahrez, I would be keeping him because I believe he will start, because Man City need points in the Premier League, and Mahrez is that man to deliver. So yeah, I think Mahrez, if you have him, you just hold him and hope he starts. And yeah, hopefully for us, he can carry on returning because he's been one of the shining lights recently for Man City. Moving up top, I've got Mitrovic, who is currently flagged. Bit of an annoyance because if he was fit, if we hear he's fit, last minute, because he does play tomorrow, I'm probably going to keep him in my team. If not, he has to be transferred out. So my transfer plans could change depending on Mitrovic, if he's fit or not. Haaland, who's got Bournemouth away, I'm going to keep him in my team. Not going to captain him. Obviously, I want to captain a double game week player. But he's got a nice fixture, and against Bournemouth, hopefully he can bounce back and carry on with getting the goals. And finally, I've got Greenwood. We know he's not going to play against Southampton. He's going to be on the bench. He might come on for a 1-pointer, so he needs to be removed or benched. So I have to figure out what to do. So as you guys can see with my team, because I've already done Salah in for KDB, that leaves me with one free transfer, and I have Patterson, Mitrovic, and Greenwood to deal with. So I'm probably gonna have to take a -8, guys. It's not what I wanted to do really. I thought I could get away with a -4, but the problem is Mitrovic. So I think I've been a bit unlucky, especially with Patterson, because for those that did watch the game week 17 wildcard draft, I bought Patterson in because of this game week in 25, because I knew Everton would play in the blank. And I knew Everton would have a double. So I bring Patterson in for that because he's cheap, and lo and behold, he goes and gets injured. So I think that's a bit unlucky that Patterson won. So he might have to go to someone like Tarkowski. We'll talk about that in a sec. Mitrovic as well. He hasn't really paid off in recent weeks. I know he had a great start to the season, but I think now there's probably the time to get rid of Mitrovic. But Marco Silva comes out and says he's fit, I may just side with keeping him. But it's a frustrating one with Mitrovic. And Greenwood, of course, I've got to move him, really, because I don't have a bench. As you guys can see, Rashford, Shaw, and Trippier don't have any fixtures. They are the blanks. So I don't even have a starting 11, really, because Patterson, Mitrovic, and Greenwood are all doubts. So I have big issues, I'd say. I mean, fairly fixable, but I'll show you guys what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring up the FPL website because I think it's just easier to show you on there. So bear with me for a sec, guys, while I do bring my team up. And also, if you guys are enjoying the content, please don't forget to drop a like on the video. It really helps support our channel, and it shows that you're enjoying the content. So drop a like, guys, and also, if you can, please do subscribe to our channel if you're new. I'm going to read a few comments regarding my team. Huss, for you, Mitro and Greenwood to Darwin and Watkins, Patterson to Tark, or Mitro and Greenwood to Felix and Watkins, and Shaw to Trent. These are good ideas, good moves. And I am leaning towards the first one, I think. So let me show you what I'm thinking of right now. So as you guys can see on my transfers, I have 1 free transfer and 3 million in the bank. Patterson has to go, as you know, he's not going to play. And I could just bring in Tarkovsky because I've got the money to do that. That leaves me with no free transfers left. So anything I take now is hits. Mitrovic out gives me 9.4, which is an easy move to Darwin. So Darwin can come in. That leaves me with 0.7 in the bank to take out someone like a Greenwood, or potentially someone like a Luke Shaw, and bring in another defender and go 4-4-2 and play 4 at the back with White, Mings, Tarkovsky, and another defender. I think that's what I'm planning on doing, because if I take Greenwood out, it only gives me 4.8, so it's not really enough. So what I'm thinking, if potentially Luke Shaw out, and if I do want Luke Shaw back, I could wildcard, etc. And that leaves me with 5.9 million. So I could bring in, I don't know how popular it's going to be, but if I want to bring in a Liverpool defender, I can't really afford anyone. I have the exact amount of money to do Matip in if I want to cover Liverpool. I know Matip's not really got much goal threat, so in that sense, it's more for the clean sheets. And we know Liverpool haven't kept many clean sheets, even though they did keep 2 back-to-back clean sheets in their last 2 league games. But I'm not sure if I do want to bring Matip in. That's what currently my team could look like. Tarkovsky comes in for the double. Darwin comes in for the double. That gives me 10 playing players, because the Greenwood doesn't really count. And I could do something like, Kilman or someone like that. Wolves have a double. If I don't want to go Liverpool, Matip, he's got Fulham and Liverpool. So I don't know exactly what spot I'm going to go with there, but that's for a -8 as well. So let me know what you guys think in terms of defenders. Because obviously Kilman is maybe not high priority for me. There's other players I probably want in there. Like I said, Matip. I can't really get to Robertson, which is annoying, because I wouldn't mind bringing in a Robertson. He's just a bit more expensive. I can't get Trent. Obviously, I've gone Darwin, Salah, and even Tarkovsky. So, yeah, that's the current plan. Let me know what you guys think. But if do you like the transfers, or is there something you'll change, especially in that Kilman slot? Do I go double Everton and bring in, Coleman or someone like that? Let me know your thoughts, guys. And the reason why I don't want to remove Martinelli is because I'll be taking even more hits, and Martinelli has a fixture. So I want to only get rid of players that don't play, rather than players that play for another player that plays. I don't think it's as worth it. But yeah, that's the plans. Kilman is just not 100%. It's like a 50-50. I could go any other defender. But yeah, that's the plan. So let me bring your team up, Jordan. And you can talk us through, obviously, this is your current bus team. Many blanks, but obviously you're going to navigate that. Talk us through your plans.
Well, yeah, obviously, as you can see, there's many players in my team blank, and obviously you could probably guess what that's leading to. Obviously, I will be taking a free hit to obviously navigate around blank game week 25, as Newcastle, Man United, Brighton and Brentford are blanking, and I do have players from these teams. So I'll just talk about the ones I do have. So I've got Edison that's got Bournemouth away. I'm really in doubt that Man City can keep a clean sheet against that fixture, if I'm honest. I mean, Bournemouth is probably the worst performing team in the Premier League, but I think they'll still score against Man City somehow. If Nottingham Forest can do it, I have no doubts that Bournemouth can somehow get something from Man City game, and I won't be even surprised if they do, because I am very considering taking out Edison very soon, as he hasn't been great at all in terms of defensively clean sheets and saves. That have not come from Edison. I think since game week 21, where they won 3-0 against Wolves. That was the last clean sheet for Man City, and since then it's been 2-1 points from Edison. So, yeah, in the future, I think Edison's going to be removed, but for now, he's currently in the team. Moving on to Kilman, obviously he has a double. He's not the greatest defender to have in the double.
Can we get to your team? Because obviously you're blank. All these guys are blanking, so you're not going to play this team. Because you're going to free hit, right? I swear.
Yeah, I'm going to free hit. I'm only going to talk about the doubles and the single players.
Okay, well, let's bring up your free hit team. Because they're not going to play. You're not going to have any of them except from Saka, really. I think. Actually, no, the Arsenal guys.
Kilburn.
Okay, let's bring up, because you're free hitting. So there's let's bring up and talk about that, because that's what I want to discuss mainly, your free hit team. What's your thoughts? Because you pretty much have been forced into free hitting, really, because obviously with the many blanks. I'll bring your team up here. Talk us through why you selected the players, and like what the decisions behind it, etc., and what you think of your team, really, for the free hit 25 and the people that are considering it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for the free hit, these are the players I picked. So Pickford, I think that's the obvious one. It's the best goalkeeper to have, I think, in this double game week at Aston Villa at home and Arsenal away. I think even without clean sheets from Pickford, at least he'll get 4 points as long as he doesn't concede more than 2 goals from either of those fixtures. So I think I'll be still happy with Pickford if he only gets 4 points, because I don't expect a clean sheet from either. It'll be a great bonus if he can, because Everton did pick up a clean sheet against Arsenal in the home fixture, and got a clean sheet in their last fixture in game week 24. So maybe there is a turnaround for Everton. Maybe a surprise for those fixtures. Moving on to the defence. Well, obviously I've spoken about Kilman. So I'll move on to Trent. He's got Crystal Palace away and Wolves at home.
Now, you miss Kilman. You miss Kilman. Obviously, what's your reasoning behind playing him? Like picking him as a Wolves defender? Because you could have went double. You could have went double Everton. Oh, sorry, with the goalie you have, but you could have went double Liverpool defense. Maybe I see you've left out an Arsenal defender. Obviously, you've decided to go triple up. Do you think Wolves can keep a clean sheet in the double game week? You reckon?
It's not the best one for Wolves in terms of clean sheets, even goals scored. We know they're both not quite popular in those departments. I pre-planned to have Kilman anyway in the team, because I did transfer him out for Ben White in game week 24, so I already have him ready for this week, despite the free hit anyway. But he has Fulham away and Liverpool away, both away fixtures. It's going to be tough for Wolves to keep clean sheets against both of these teams. Maybe it'd be helpful if Mitrovic doesn't play tomorrow. Maybe there's potential for a clean sheet there, because most of the goals do come from Mitrovic, as he has scored 11 so far for them. So maybe they can skive away with a clean sheet from there. But Liverpool, on the other hand, I don't see a clean sheet from there. But I mean, again, same with Pickford. If Kilman gets 4 points, I mean, that's still, I'll say, almost a clean sheet in itself with 4 points there. But yeah, moving on to Trent. Obviously, I want triple Liverpool, and I think Trent is probably one of the Liverpool assets I want, because not only is he a defender, he's also the defender who gets those attacking returns like assists and even goals. And we've seen in the last 2 game weeks, Liverpool have improved, as we were waiting to see, despite Liverpool being really poor this season, whether they can turn it around. And I think they are starting to turn it around. I mean, in the last night's game, when they played in the other competition, they did lose surprisingly 5-2, but they did look really good in the first 20 minutes because they were 2-0 up. And I think from Trent, he comes off of a double haul as well in the Premier League in his last game, getting an assist and a bonus free. So there was a lot of upside to bringing Trent in for this week. I think if you bring him in early, like I'm doing on my free hit, I think it would be very rewarding because I think he can get a double haul at the end of those two fixtures, with them being Crystal Palace away and Wolves at home. So there is a bit of clashes between Kilman and obviously Liverpool. But I think Trent can do well in both those doubles, as it is against two teams that haven't been this great this season. I'll say they've been pretty average. But my final defender, who I've decided to pick, is probably an obvious one that many will go for, is Tarkowski, who's got Aston Villa at home and Arsenal away. And yeah, he's a similar player in terms of Everton's perspectives. He is an attacking return kind of defender as well. I think he can do well, especially in the Aston Villa at home one, because Aston Villa do concede a lot of goals against teams that you wouldn't really expect to. I mean, there's Arsenal with their goals against them that they've conceded, and with Sean Dyche being the manager now for Everton, he seems to be doing really well for them, especially in the first win underneath him being against Arsenal. And yeah, there's high hopes for Tarkowski. Potential clean sheet, hope, fingers crossed. I mean, for Aston Villa at home, I'm seeing it more likely in that fixture rather than the Arsenal away one. But if he can get one similar to Pickford in the Aston Villa at home one, it's a bonus to whatever happens in the Arsenal away fixture, because that's a less likely going to be a clean sheet. Well, that's the three defenders spoken about. I'll move on to the four midfielders now. So we'll begin with Saka, who has Leicester away and Everton at home. I already had Saka in my team anyway, but yeah, I think he's going to be a very good doubler. I mean, I think he's a must to have in his double game week because he is highly owned. And also on penalties, he's expected to play 180 minutes, I believe, in both of those fixtures. So he's pretty nailed. I don't think we have to worry about him being substituted off unless he has an injury. Fingers crossed not. But yeah, Leicester away. Leicester have conceded again a lot of goals against opposition teams. It might be a bit tricky for Arsenal being an away fixture, but I still think there'll be goals in that game, and I think they can come from Saka as well. And then the second fixture for Arsenal, Everton at home. Possibly you would think that's easy as well, but it could be a challenging one. But it is home, so it might, with the fans behind Arsenal and obviously in the title race, I think they can get across the finish line. And yeah, I think Saka is another player that can get a double haul. I mean, 10 plus points, I think, at the end of those two fixtures. They look pretty good. And obviously, he's one of those players that may be captained a lot in his double. Moving on to his partner, Odegaard. Now, I've wanted Odegaard so much in my team. I've been without him so far this season, unable to fit him in my team. But thankfully, I'm kind of delighted now that I have him free hitting. I can bring him in my team for this game week. So yeah, he has the same fixtures as Saka. He's been really good this season. I think he's had the most points in terms of Arsenal midfielders as well. And yeah, I think he can do really well. I don't expect him to play 180 minutes. He may be subbed off later on in the second half of the match. But if he can return early, or at least early in the second half, I think, yeah, he's another great asset you'd probably want in your team if you're going to triple up on Arsenal. I don't think I'll be looking anywhere else other than Odegaard and Saka being the two Arsenal midfielders. Martinelli, we all know that he's playing less minutes with Trossard and whatnot. So I think Odegaard will definitely outscore Martinelli in that respect. And moving on to now next midfielder, that is Salah, who is one of the three Liverpool assets I've included in this free hit. And he has Crystal Palace and Wolves at home. Now, I was more appealed to having Salah in my team after watching the game last night when Liverpool were against Real Madrid. He was involved in one of the goals, which led to Darwin scoring from Salah's assist. So yeah, that is a delight to see Salah actually getting more returns in other competitions, and I do believe in the Premier League with Crystal Palace away and Wolves home. I could see him returning really well, maybe even possibly scoring in one of those fixtures. And yeah, again, he's another player that can really do well in this double game week. And I think a lot of you should be jumping on Salah as he is a potential captain, highly captained player for this double. And obviously, will play the 180 minutes again. Another player that's nailed. Because in terms of Liverpool assets, it's a bit juggled between obviously other players like Gakpo probably won't play a full 180 minutes. Darwin again, all these other players for midfielders. Salah's probably the best pick, especially for his penalties as well. He's on penalty kicks, so there's a lot of upside to bringing Salah in, despite Liverpool being not so great this season. I do think there's a turnaround for them in this double game week. And finally, moving on to the last midfielder is Iwobi. I will be honest, I haven't really given this much thought of why I've decided to bring in Iwobi, but I've really gone purely on these statistics for Everton, and yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I haven't really thought of another midfielder that I could potentially bring in for that position. I could have brought in a single game week player, but I decided to go for a double, and Iwobi is the one that I went to. He is cheap. I mean, and you never know, he could really get something from either Aston Villa or Arsenal away. He's one of those players where no one will really look at him and think, oh yeah, he's going to score against Aston Villa or he's going to get an assist against Arsenal. I think he has had 6 assists so far this season, which is a surprise because I haven't really watched or looked at Everton much in terms of their assets, but I'm going to give it a go with Iwobi, see what he can do. I mean, even if he just gets 4 points for match time, again, that's still a bonus for me because he is not really that highly owned. So he's a very good differential, even with 4 points underneath him. And now finally, we move on to the front three. And the first of those is Nketiah, who has Leicester away and Everton at home. Now, as I've mentioned before, Nketiah hasn't had a return since he scored 2 goals against Man United. So it has been a bit of a dry spell, similar to Martinelli, in terms of not getting anything up to now. So I'm hoping with Leicester away and Everton at home, he can turn that around by actually finishing a chance because he's had the chances to score, but he hasn't been able to clinically score them. So I'm hoping in one of these fixtures, Leicester away and Everton home, he can potentially or finally get something from either one of those fixtures. So yeah, he does complete the Arsenal triple up. So it is Nketiah, Saka, and Odegaard, which I am pretty happy to go with going forward with their fixtures. Now, finally, we move on to Darwin Núñez, who is the third Liverpool player in my triple up on this free hit. And he has Crystal Palace away and Wolves at home. Was delighted to see him score yesterday as well. So that is 2 goals for him, obviously in a row for him in other competitions as well as the Premier League. So yeah, it's looking really good for Darwin as we were all frustrated that he couldn't really finish chances or score previously. Now he's sort of on a goal streak. So hopefully he can continue that in the Crystal Palace away one. It'd be nice for him to score in that one. And maybe in the Wolves at home one, because he does look dangerous whenever he's on the ball for Liverpool. And no one else has really shown much conviction like Darwin has in Liverpool games. We did see Luis Diaz do it in the past when he was not injured. And it seems like Darwin is like Luis Diaz. Whenever he has the ball, he always tries his hardest to provide opportunities as well as score. So he's definitely a forward player you would want in this double game at 25 as a Liverpool asset as well, especially now that they've turned it around a bit in the past 2 fixtures. And yeah, he did score in his previous game week. So there's a lot of upside to bringing Darwin in. And he's also potentially a captain worthy player. And finally, we got my only single game week player, and that is Haaland, who has Bournemouth away. I'm not really concerned, honestly, about this fixture. I think Haaland could potentially blank against Bournemouth. As mad as that sounds, I don't think he'll do much in that fixture, despite it being a really good one on paper. I mean, I was really looking forward to him doing a lot of damage against Nottingham Forest, but he sort of couldn't finish chances when they were literally right in front of him, especially that open goal one. So I think Bournemouth will give Man City a headache in that fixture, and I think they'll obviously be looking at Haaland and obviously stopping him, as he is the most, I'll say, provider of goals for Man City currently. And obviously, Bournemouth will be keeping an eye on him. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he doesn't do anything in that Bournemouth away fixture, as he hasn't got the captaincy over him, as I have put it on Saka. So yeah, that is pretty much my starting 11 for my free hit. I have captain Saka and vice captain Salah, so I'm probably going to stick with that up to the deadline. I don't think I'll be changing that because I do like Saka as the captain option over Salah. And yeah, basically on my team bench, I've got Leno, who's got Wolves at home, single game week fixture. I've got Bowen, who's got Nottingham Forest at home, another single game week fixture. I've got Bueno, who has a double, but I'm not too confident that he's obviously going to play both, as his minutes have been limited. And we got Lewis, who has Bournemouth away, which I'm not really bothered if, because I don't think he'll be coming on anyway, with all the double game week fixtures I have for the other players. So he's just a player I've included on the bench just for the budget. And yeah, that is basically my how I'm going forward in game week 25.
Okay, so you are free hitting, of course. Yeah, it's a nice free hit team. I'm gonna get through some comments that we missed earlier on. Then yeah, we'll just read out questions from the guys. So Alex with a comment, starting 11 this week: Kepa, Akanji, Bueno, Trent, Salah, and Andreas, Martinelli, Odegaard, Darwin, Haaland, and Ketia. Already taken a -4. Should I take a -8 to do Akanji to Tarkovsky? So essentially, should you do Akanji to Tarkovsky, you're gonna get 2 games of Tarkovsky, whereas Akanji may not even start. So I think look at it in isolation as Akanji to Tarkovsky. Is it worth? Will he make 4 points? I mean, if Tarkovsky plays both those games, he should make 4 points, and anything he gets a clean sheet or etc., it could be worth it. If I'm being honest, because especially if Akanji doesn't start, which looks like he may not. Mitrovic to Nunes or Trippier to Trent, Jordan, what would you do?
I'll probably go Mitrovic to Nunes. Yeah, I'd probably choose that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because plus selling Trippier, you'd probably want him back later, and then it's going to be hard to get him back, obviously, unless you sell Trent again. So yeah, I'll probably go Mitro to Nunes, similar to what I'm going to do probably in my team. Jenny Berry, hi guys. I've done Dan Burn to Tarkovsky and Ben Mee to Trent. Yeah, they're 2 good moves, I think. So bringing in 2 doublers, Dan Burn blanks and Ben Mee or also blanks, doesn't he? So yeah, I think they're 2 good moves. Matoma to McNeil or Wilson to Firmino for a -8. I mean, I'd rather take out Wilson if I had to choose, but it probably wouldn't be for Firmino because I'm not sure about Firmino's minutes. I don't know if he'll start either game. If I'm being honest, he'll probably come on in both games, but I'm not sure how reliable Firmino is for minutes. I'd prefer Nunes if you can afford it. You should be able to. Even Gakpo, I prefer ahead of. I know he's a midfielder, but yeah, I'm not sure about Firmino's minutes in those doubles. If I'm being honest, I don't know how much minutes he will get because it seemed like he's probably 5th choice in that front line. Even Jota, who's probably ahead of Firmino. Have you thought about getting Robbo instead of Darwin? I assume that's to you, Jordan. That comment.
No, I'm not too confident in Liverpool's defence still. So I wouldn't be happy with Trent and Robertson in my team. I'd probably be more comfortable with going with the attacking players over defenders, especially with Liverpool in their season the way it's gone. They haven't really kept many clean sheets and they have scored more goals. So I'll probably go with more attacking players for Liverpool rather than defenders in case they can't really keep clean sheets.
Yeah, I think I prefer the double Liverpool attack compared to like double Liverpool defense because I prefer Salah, Darwin, and their defender. Ali Max says nice free hit, Jordan. I would captain Salah and have Neves rather than Bowen just in case Haaland does not play. I'd be surprised if Haaland doesn't play.
I mean, yeah, they did play the other day, so
yesterday, last night.
So yeah, that is something to consider, Ali. I will actually Mike said that actually. Ali, thank you for that comment.
Swapped KDB, Shaw, and Patterson to Salah, Tarkovsky, Mings. Am I the only one thinking I can navigate okay until game week 32 and then use the chips for 32 to 34? You could, it could pay off. It depends on a lot. You know, we're going to see with the FA Cup when teams get knocked out, we'll have a clearer idea of when to use chips and etc. So we'll be doing videos on that. So yeah, I'm literally waiting for the FA Cup games to happen because, as we know, there's a lot of permutations depending on if teams get knocked out. For example, if Fulham beat Leeds and Liverpool don't double, I think it right in 28. So yeah, it's hard to say what chip to use. But if you feel like you don't need to use it, then yeah, of course, don't use it. But if you need it, then yeah, I guess you got to use it. Jenny Berry says Odegaard a great choice.
Yeah.
In regards to your team, I think obviously you bring Odegaard in. Krogsberg, what is your opinion about João Gomez for Wolves? I think about bringing him in this week. What's your thoughts? Because for me, just other midfielders I'd want rather than having a Wolves midfielder taking up a slot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, if you're there, Salah as doublers. So Wolves midfielders are not really the highly optimal choices, especially João Gomez, and especially Wolves not being the highest goal scorers as well. You'd be lucky if they score 2 goals in a match.
Yeah, I mean they did score 3 against Liverpool a few weeks ago, but yeah, I don't know how many goals they can really score because they are struggling as well, Wolves, in certain games. And yeah, there's just so many other players like Arsenal, Liverpool, mainly that I'd want ahead of Wolves for that double. Dawson or Kilman, probably Kilman.
Yeah, I'll be safe with Kilman.
And then don't know who Haas supports, but good luck to Jordan and United tonight. Of course, Man United do play Barca, don't they, today?
Oh, yes, thank you, Ali. Yeah, it's going to be a really good match, especially at Old Trafford.
Yeah, for those that don't know, I am a Liverpool fan, so not great week in terms of the result in the Champions League for us, but yeah, Liverpool and United fan. But yeah, let us know who you support, Ali Mac, and let us know who you guys also support in the chat. Michael, Pickford, or Edison this week? I'd go Pickford. Just double.
Yeah, definitely this week. I think Pickford can outscore Edison, even if Pickford doesn't keep 2 clean sheets, and obviously in the double, I don't think Edison keeps a clean sheet against Bournemouth, like I mentioned.
Well, there you go. Is triple Liverpool a risk with them possibly blanking in game week 28? Yeah, it could be. Obviously, for you, Jordan, it's not as much of a risk because you're free hitting, so they're going to go out your team next week. But yeah, it could be a slight risk. But we have to kind of hope it. They do have a fixture at the end, and if you go double Liverpool, I think it might be a bit better. So you're not fully into Liverpool, like you can get out. If you have double, I think it's kind of halfway. But yeah, I do hear where you're coming from. That's why I think maybe double is the way to go, like Trent and Salah or Nunes and Salah, etc. Rather than going all out Liverpool. But it could pay off also because if Liverpool do have a fixture in game week 28, because you could look at the other way. If Liverpool do and you're triple Liverpool already, you have a head start on every other player because they're going to be scrambling to get Liverpool players in. So it's literally sometimes FPL does come down to luck as well. Fulham and Leeds, it depends a lot. Obviously, what happens in that game, and it's hard to obviously predict that. But that's why FPL is very tough to predict sometimes as well what's going to happen. And that's why we do need the FA Cup fixture to happen as well before we talk about chip strategies and when to use our free hit, wild card, etc. Because there's a lot that can happen. But the next few weeks is going to be interesting because I can see a lot of managers playing their wild card and bench boosts potentially, or other chips they have left. Jenny Berry says you'll never walk alone, assuming you're a Liverpool fan as well. But yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so we've just been streaming just over 45 minutes. If you have enjoyed it, guys, so far, please consider subscribing to our channel. We are close to 800 subscribers, so if you can get us there, that would be great. Make sure you share the video as well if you can. Like the stream It helps the channel out a lot as well. So yeah, all we ask for is your likes, guys. Jeremy Baker says Spurs. Spurs have been up and down. They are in the top 4 now, surprisingly, but yeah, up and down season for Spurs. Similar to Liverpool, really, but Spurs still find themselves in the top 4. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. I think we are back again tomorrow. So make sure you guys do join us. What time are we back tomorrow? Is it 5:30? I think. I'm just going to check. Yeah. We're back at 5:30 p.m. UK time tomorrow. It is a 6:30 p.m. UK deadline stream. So make sure you guys are tuned in for that. It's going to be a good stream. I've got a lot of transfers to make. I'm probably going to take a -8. So make sure you do tune in so you can see that. Jordan's going to obviously lock in his free hit team. We're going to have to do our captains, etc. And yeah, it's going to be a good one. So make sure you guys don't miss that one tomorrow at 5:30. Michael says, will there be videos on how to optimize your team for upcoming blanks and doubles for guys free hitting? Yes, we will have a lot of videos out on terms of chip strategies in the coming weeks. So make sure you are tuned in and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on any content, Michael. But anyway, that is it for now. I think Manchester United do kick off soon, I believe. So probably going to go watch that, I guess, Jordan. And yeah, it's been a good stream. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the team selection video for Double Game Week 25. Anything else you'd like to add, Jordan?
Just thank you guys for watching the video. It's always appreciated. Enjoyed the game tonight. If you are watching Man United Barcelona, it is on at 8 o'clock UK time. So have fun watching that. I definitely will be. And take care. And we'll see you tomorrow afternoon for the deadline stream. It should be very exciting.
Yep. Take care, guys, and see you tomorrow.